Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Back again here. I know it's not 7 a.m. how I usually go live, but Saskatchewan, if you're watching from Saskatchewan, know that we got hit by a ton of snow, so everything's canceled. School, work, pretty much almost. But so that's why we're going later. And then my guest, who I'm having a guest on today, it worked out for her to be at 10 a.m. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get right to it here. Good morning anyway. Don't forget to check out IOPPS.ca for your daily jobs. Also, my nephew's Eston's Crazy Corn on Facebook, and he's also on Instagram. I got to change that. He's on Instagram as well. Eston's Crazy Corn if you want to order through Instagram. Also, Canine Action Project on Facebook. Check them out. And here's who we're having on our guest today. Save the Res Dogs on Facebook, Instagram, and SaveResDogs.com. Also, don't forget about our Chase Days Treaty 6 draw on Facebook every Thursday at 7 p.m. We're hovering around $18,000. Only $5 a ticket can win you all that money. Okay, here we go. Going to get right to it. Going to bring on our guest. Welcome. Oh, I got to take off your mic.
Good morning. Hi.
Oh, there's my number one. Morning, Michelle. I'm sorry I didn't have. I was up, but I just didn't get up. Anyway, hey, welcome to the IOPPS Morning Show.
Thanks for having me.
10 a.m. show, I guess.
Yep.
Everyone always gave me shit saying why my show was so early all the time, and I don't know. I was up at 7, and I was up early, and then decided to do a show in the morning and go to work. Just start my day.
Real casual.
Yeah, real cash. Anyway, welcome to the show. And we're here to talk about your business, your initiative, your thing, Save the Res Dog. Is it Save Res Dogs or Save the Res Dogs?
It's Save Res Dogs. Yeah.
Save Res Dogs.
Yeah.
So tell me about Save Res Dogs. Tell me how it all started, where you're at now, all that good stuff.
For sure. Well, thank you. First, my name is Leah Arcand. I'm a member from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation, and I also have roots in Cody First Nation down in Treaty 4 on my dad's side. And I live in Saskatoon, and I'm a teacher. So that's really how this all started, as I was teaching in various communities. And when I was in Thunderchild 4 or 5 years ago, I had my own place, which was easier for me to sort of shelter, take in any kind of stray, free roaming res dogs that, who would follow me home from school because I fed them my lunch or whatever. And that was usually the case. And that's sort of the roots of it. Because I really live next door to the school. So I would have at least 4 dogs on the daily follow me home, which was totally my normal. And I was cool with it because it was just me. And
I find that funny. Sorry, I find that funny because I work at a school and there's always res dogs at the school because we work right beside town site. All the dogs are always there. And sometimes you're going out to see which dogs are out there. So I get that.
Yeah. And they're very friendly. Everyone knows them. Community, no one really claims them, or some of the dogs follow the students to school and just stay at the school because the kids or whoever just sort of ditch them. And that's pretty common too. So I was teaching a land-based program called Miopamatsuin, and I was the teacher for the grade 7-8 girls. And I had adopted a dog by that time. So I was this new dog mom, and I've always loved animals, but it was part of my daily life now. And I, wanted to fit that into my curriculum because Miopamatsuin means good, healthy living. And just sort of to, reframe the stereotypes that we see on the res about res dogs, because it's so normalized, the sometimes violence, sometimes, the jokes and whatever. So I wanted to reframe all that. And also around that time, there was 2 very, fatal incidences where dogs were tortured to death by kids. And Like the group, the community huddled around the kids at the time to get them the help that they needed, which was great. But for the dogs or animals, like their damage control was putting up posters around the res and saying like, tie up your dogs. And I'm like, that's not really, that doesn't do anything, and no one's going to do that. So
no one's really going to listen.
Yeah, no one's going to listen. No one's enforcing it. So that's where I really started to use my social media as a tool. I was using I started the hashtag, save res dogs. When I had a puppy or another dog to rehome, I would have my message and their story, how the dog came to me, whatever. And so that really started in 2016. And I did that since I left Thunderchild, because I was on mat leave.
Mm-hmm.
I had a baby. And by that time, the community and people around kind of knew me as, the dog person, the dog lady.
The dog whisperer?
Yeah, the dog, I guess. Yeah, the dog whisperer. Also, because I had people give me donations, like food donations, anything, because I was, using social media. That was like my tool. So I was becoming that dog person, and I really, was becoming more invested into the whole issue and situation, and like educating myself about it, and really trying to advocate and bring education to it, because that's where that's who I am, right? I'm an educator to my core. So yeah. And then so I left Thunderchild. I probably rehomed maybe 60 dogs on my own through social media. In
Thunderchild or all around?
Mostly in Thunderchild. Yeah.
Wow, that many, eh?
Yeah, well, because some dogs would have puppies. Oh, yeah. And so it just was a thing. And yeah, it was a lot. So I'm in Saskatoon. I have a baby. People are still messaging me from my reserve, from down south, anywhere, being like, hey, I have this dog. Can you help me rehome him? And so I'm just like doing my best to be like, yeah, for sure, posting, whatever. Or people are like, hey, I can't afford my vet bill for my dog, or my dog's in heat and always having puppies. So I'm like trying to get donations and fundraising. So I've heard of Canine Action Project, which is a great organization, and we support them.
They saved my ass twice.
Yeah. And so I found that a lot of our communities really just were like, go to Canine Action Project, go to Canine Action Project. But I was like, at some point, we need to start doing this work on our own.
100%.
And so, and so instead of, officially joining their team or staff, I decided to start my own thing, whatever that was. I didn't know, but I was like, I'm going to use Save Res Dogs, because I've been using it for 4 years, whatever. And I will get the donations, and I will donate it to Canine Action Project, because there's not a lot of Indigenous-based organizations to help res dogs. Because I know like Canine Action Project, they're, great people, but it's non-native based.
Yeah. And
I found that like more Indigenous people were just messaging me from wherever, because they didn't know who to go to. They, even on their own reserve, they didn't want to call anyone, because they're like, they're just going to shoot my dog. And that's sort of been the main narrative of how communities control the dog management plans. Is like, let's either shoot them or get a rescue to pick up any dogs and take them away. And that's been it. And I'm like, that does nothing for the long run at all. So
I grew up thinking the same mentality, because that's how, I grew up in the res, and that's literally what happens is they just shoot the dogs. And when I grew up, they never called the vets or whatever, because there wasn't that stuff around that time. It was just shoot them, move on with your day. Now you get older, and I got 3 dogs. Well, 2 are given to me. I had 1, and not, you love these damn things, like almost like your kids are annoying, but it's like, seeing all these dogs and just knowing that shit, that dog's probably gonna get killed, run over, or shot. One of the things living on the res if they're not taken care of.
Yeah. So I like my platform now it's a little of everything, right? Like me and my partner just sort of handle where we're at. Like I have merch that I get made. And I don't like this is all like volunteer. Like I don't like pay myself. Like I've paid myself back for the money I put in, but at this point it's all very much volunteer based. And so yeah, I get merch made and I donate it to various causes and other rescues around like the country and other like mainly low income families who can't afford their vet bills. Like I don't pay the whole thing. I just like I do have an application process where I'm like, I can give you this much, but you have to agree to fundraise the other half, just to also promote like owner responsibility too. So, and like, and there, everyone needs education. Like, it's not just one or the other. It's not just chief and council, or it's not just the rescue. It's like everyone really plays a part at improving the dog management and to create preventative measures so like nobody gets hurt. Because that's another thing that I find too, like communities won't take action until something bad happens. And it's like, well, let's not get to that point. Like, let's be more preventative. And it's like, as I've been doing this work, I realize like there's so many layers. It's so complicated when it doesn't have to be, because sometimes me and my cousins have called like a few, had the list of all the band offices in Saskatchewan in a 3-week time frame to call all of them to see what their management plans were. Yeah. And it is COVID, and I get it. Like some offices were shut down, some offices weren't, but we got through to about 32 out of the 74 band offices. And there was, I could say at least one or two that were like, we have spay and neuter clinics annually for our owners, but everyone else, it was just like, they couldn't direct me to who to talk to about res dogs. Were like, we don't do that, like, so it was very telling, this survey that I did, like where we're at in Saskatchewan, and that it's really alarming. And yeah. So
of how the uneducation of all the of how not to treat dogs. It's like, because you grow up and you just see so much stuff on the res, and it's like just becomes normalized to you, and it's like, you're numb to what's going on. So I applaud you, because I got this dog. His name's Gizzy, right? The guy is so dull when it comes to porcupines. Like this summer. Yeah. And this is how I found out about Canine Action Project. And I didn't know you did the same thing, but that's why I found out about Canine. And that's why I always give them a shout out, because they are, and you're right, there's no, they're not run by First Nations, but it's like they are always in the reserves because they know there's a problem with, animals. So they help me out. And that's why, like, I've been more in tune of, helping out these animals, because you see if you've never been on a reserve, man, there's dogs running everywhere. Most of them are like, seems like they're just running wild, but some are taken care of, eh? But you still let, like my dogs, they just run everywhere. Like they're always coming to my school, and I got to pick them up and bring them back to the house. And doesn't mean they're not taken care of, but I mean, there's a lot of dogs that are out there that are not getting taken care of. So I just love what you're doing. And I really, what I was thinking, and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to raise money for you. I'm good at raising money. I want to help out Canine Action Project, because I got to return the favor to them, because they did help me out financially with, the porcupine quills. But now I want to also help out you as well and do some kind of thing. I'm well known for this Chase Ace thing, but who knows? There could be a thing in there where we figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. That would be great. Thank you. I'm currently have a GoFundMe to get like a quality pet ID tag engraver, because a lot of the dogs don't have IDs, right? And that could, it won't save every dog, but it could, like, protect your dog from getting taken away from a rescue if he's not properly identified. And like,
how much one of those things cost?
Well, the one that I would like, this is where I get my dog tags from. It's at a doggy daycare in Sutherland. When I called, it's $4,500, but it comes with everything.
$4,500 to write a tag?
Yes, but I called
Wow.
the company and they're like, well, because you're, a charity, we'll give it to you for $4,000. And so far I'm literally like $500 away from getting it because of the
Wow.
GoFundMe, from various donations. Like, I'm really close to getting that. So that's one thing, that's one service that I want to add to my organization to help families and communities. So, because like in the news this past summer, there was like the big story of a rescue coming into a northern community, and like, took a lot of dogs with like chief and council's, wishes, but they didn't follow protocol right.
Mhm.
And stuff like a dog tag could really go a long way. So
that would be huge on the reserves.
Yeah. So, anyways, long story short, this rescue took dogs that belonged to a family and they shipped them away to Ontario. And the family was like, "Hey, you took our dog. Like, we want him back." And the rescue just is like, it fell on deaf ears and didn't return the dog. So it's like,
hear speak and no see evil kind of thing.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's so many layers, and everyone needs to be educated on different things. Like, rescues are definitely, we need their help, but there also needs to be some more cultural sensitivity training when it comes to them working in our communities and understanding how colonialism really impacted our communities and impacted and, fractured our relationships with our animals, because we're doing damage control in so many different areas. But like, rescues can perpetuate that colonialism sometimes when they look at us like, you don't know how to take care of your dog. But it's like, that's not the case. And everything is different, but it really comes down to education at the end of the day. Like, and it's not like I want to, bad talk everybody. I just am like,
you're just literally stating facts.
Yeah,
it is what it is, man. They're just facts.
Yeah,
hardcore facts that sometimes it's hard to swallow. Like, it's the truth is there right in front of you.
Yeah, and even like, and I hate this too. Like, because even with ourselves and our own communities, I get super frustrated because it's like we live under these, very traditional values. But like, how traditional is it when we're like shooting dogs and allowing this, sort of, I guess, violence happening?
Culling.
Yeah, this culling and all this sort of stuff, or, like chief and councils like laughing at me and being like, I don't have time for res dogs, or making fun of me. And I'm just like, but you'll go into a grand entry all proud. But I'm like, there's some level of hypocrisy. And it's like, I want to protect it so bad, but I'm also like looking at us like, what the hell? Like, we have to be doing better because people are watching. It doesn't matter if people are watching, but I mean, it's just messed up. And then it's like, I look at, non-natives, and it's like they can perpetuate colonialism. And then it's all really about the kids. And that's why, like, I really do this, because they're growing up and, already having that normalized behavior that like, oh, res dogs are mutts. Oh, we got to shoot the res dogs. Oh, they attacked me. Oh, they're so bad. And I'm like, no, that's there's so much more to this. And it's like, we forgot their traditional roles in our communities and how valuable they were. And now it's like, we flipped the script. And
can we dive into that a little bit of how they were traditionally? I would like to know. I would really like to know that.
And yeah, like, so say if I was to do my master's on this, like, this is basically my master's project without going to university, but I would definitely love to spend more time talking to like elders and, knowledge keepers. But what I have learned is that how, dogs were here before the horses, you know, and in the prairies anyways, and how, you know, they helped us with our transportation. They helped us, you know, secure the camps and alerted us when outsiders were coming. They helped us hunt for food, and they were, you know, our family members. They're like their kinship, you know, Wahkotuan. And so there was a way for dog management too, you know, like if a dog was in heat, you keep her away from all the other dogs, kind of thing. And that's how they kind of controlled it, because these situations weren't happening way back then. And also, what I've learned too is that some certain breeds of dogs were used for ceremony, you know, to, you know, for feasts and stuff. So that's, to the extent, that's what I've learned so far.
Like we'd eat them, or they were just
that we eat them, like certain breeds were used for ceremonies, yeah, to be eaten.
Okay. But
yeah, it's just, and then, you know, colonialism, we all know the story, right? It like, yeah, it destroyed a lot of things. So then, and that's when I also talk about, when I do presentations where I talk about kids, it's just like, we have to remind ourselves of that, like, if we live by natural law, then we have to really walk the talk and treat our animals right, you know?
No, so, yeah. I agree. I think it's so awesome what you're doing here. Like basically the first, you know, to be, so do you only service Saskatchewan, or are you kind of just wherever the wind blows you if you have enough money?
Yeah, wherever the wind blows, really. Mainly in Canada, but like with my merch, I've mailed it all over Canada. I've mailed it all over the States. I just mailed a package to the United Kingdom yesterday, which was pretty crazy for me. Yeah, so we're starting to go global, you know.
I just want to share your stuff again here.
Yeah. But I mean, like, also another thing is like our situation with res dogs isn't just on reserves. It's a global issue, right? Anywhere in the world has their own situations with dogs. And
yeah,
I'm just trying to like focus on us here and how we can, you know, we can fix that, because we can fix that. It's just you hit roadblocks when you call a band office and they're like, oh, I don't know who to go to. No one deals with res dogs here. And when you do hit, like, you get to a director of operations and they're like, oh, we don't have enough money for all this. So it comes to money, or they just think res dogs is a joke, like legit. And I'm like, okay, like it becomes super.
Well, it's you're literally starting, you're ahead of your time almost to say, because you're starting something that's never been kind of thought of, and you know, you're opening people's eyes, but it's like, you know, you're hitting a wall for a while, and it's gonna be a while before people see it as a normalized thing to start looking at it at a different way, right? And that's the awesome. That's why I like where it is at now, because it's at the beginning. It's raw. It's like there's so many different ways you can do with it. But I mean, it's a beautiful thing what you're doing, and I think it's very needed everywhere. And you're right. It's like not just on the reserves. It's everywhere in the world, man. There's problem. It's not problem with dogs. It's just how humans are treating them.
Yeah, it's like it's our problem, and that's part of the reframing too. Like it's our problem, it's not the dog's problem, because that's how it's always been. Like, oh, the dogs got in the trash again, so we got to take the trash cans out. And so, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, we have to fix why are dogs in the trash can? Like, let's find a way to feed them. You know, let's find some programming to help the owners make sure they have enough food. You know. It's progressive thinking. It's thinking upstream. And it's, you know, maybe I am ahead of my time. Maybe I'm too radical, but
you're exactly. People, when I started doing this, like way back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago, they were like wondering what the hell I was doing. Right? It's like you just keep going until it catches on, right?
Yeah. And like I do feel like like I did an interview with APTN a couple weeks ago about the situation and how, you know, there is like this new wave of rescues kind of coming in, and people, it really has to come within our communities to make this change. We can't keep relying on rescues to fix the problem, because it's like, because it won't work in the long run.
Yeah, I feel that sigh. Yeah. You know,
just,
there's a lot of work ahead, but I mean, the work
Mhm.
is it brings a lot of value into your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like having animals around sometimes, and I admit it, I'm going to admit it myself, they can get annoying sometimes, but I mean, they're so valuable for the long term of your life and to have around. One, for protection, two, to, you know, kids love them, and, you know, they're fun to play with, and right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. Even with like I have 2 dogs and I love them to death, but sometimes I'm like, go lie down. Like, you're too extra right now. But I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, it's just, I appreciate you having me on the show. I really love to talk about dogs. I could talk about dogs all the time.
I was just going to suggest
to the point where I don't cry as much. Like, I used to cry a lot, and I'm like, Leah, if you're going to do this work, you got to just like keep yourself in check, because
Michelle says you're exactly where you have to be, Leah. Change always requires someone being brave enough and to have that initiative, and you're doing it. Keep up the awesome work. And that's true.
You.
That's so true. Michelle's like my number one fan here on my show. She watches all of them every day. But I mean, that's so true. It's like, and that's what I was saying. Like when I was doing this at the start, people were just like, you know, didn't want to come on, or like, you know, what's this guy doing? And but it's you starting something. It's being brave enough to get up there and take all the heat. Like, you're gonna get laughed at and whatever, because it's just it's so normalized in our communities to shoot dogs and treat them like shit, where people actually want to, you know, like act like they're horses, where, you know, they're you know, they're a good animal to have around, right?
Yeah.
You know,
So, for sure.
Have you ever thought of doing something like this? I'm trying to push Indigenous people to start podcasts, because you can podcast about anything, and literally this would be something to start a podcast about, because you're gonna have animal lovers in general tune in from around the world. Like, there's podcasts out there about cats, frogs, bugs. It's unreal. It's like, so was this something you would ever consider, because it would bring more eyes, I guess, to what you're trying to do?
Absolutely. I have, for sure. Like, me and another buddy have like joked about starting a podcast. I just like would have to get over my own stuff, like my own shyness, but I mean, for sure, if it's on my own time and not to anyone's standard, you know, like, one thing I do want to get to as well is like a YouTube channel, so I can get to people all over the place too, and do talks on different things, just because, you know, we can't travel anymore. You know, the conference circuit is closed, and so it's just trying to reach different.
And this is exactly how people are doing it now, to reach out to everybody, is doing these online. Doing these online shows, podcasts, to reach everybody, because everyone's at home, and we're going to a second lockdown by the sounds of it. So best way to educate.
Yeah, for sure. I would totally be interested in a podcast.
Well, we should talk after, if you're ever interested. Like, I'm more than happy to help people out, and like, you know, one of the people that I guess I kind of almost tried, I'm gonna helped a little bit, was foxing around. Like, now, you know, with Raymond Fox and his partner, they're huge now, right? They're like massive. And, you know, it's so awesome to see Indigenous people succeed like that, especially as yourself, what you're doing. And, you know, I don't know, I just love podcasting. I think there's not enough Indigenous shows out there. There needs to be so many. There needs to be just thousands.
No, for sure. That's great.
But that's the 30 minutes. It goes by quick. Everyone's surprised how fast you show. Well, even when I do my other podcast, like I go for an hour or wherever, they're just over quick. There's my man Patrick Mitswing. Yeah.
Oh, hi.
So yeah, is there anything you want to end off with that you want to say, or to anyone that's watching? How can anyone donate to you?
I'll just start crying now. Just kidding.
How can anyone send you 20?
They could buy merch, that's the way, or e-transfer directly to saveresdogs@gmail.com.
Mhm.
And that just helps keep us afloat. It helps us get more merch. It helps us pay for shipping, pays for other donations kind of thing. So yeah, those
So
are the ways.
if anyone wants to get a receipt, you have receipts and stuff. If
Oh
you're
no, so that's the other thing. So I'm not registered at all. It's like 100% grassroots, but I make that known on my website if people donate and people are like, yeah, for sure. But I usually compensate with like merch. If you donate me something, like I will send you a shirt in exchange.
yeah,
But I haven't gone down that road of registering yet. I've thought about it. I just
so much money out there once you do.
yeah, that's the thing. It's on my to-do list. Like Nolan is to help with that, but
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, we'll see. And the whole like Save Res Dogs as like, my social media and website is really only a year old now. Like officially a year
really?
old.
This is only a year old, but the initiative started probably about
Yeah,
2 years ago, 4 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
So
that's
I
awesome.
mean, yeah, it's who knows where it'll go. Like I do have big dreams for a lot of things. Like I want to do a children's book as well, like a graphic novel. I want to like have more merch. I want to create a bigger catalog because like people really like the merch and I just want to expand on that. And yeah, just a little bit of
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
the merch is like I did show you guys the website there. So go on it, saveresdogs.com if you want to get a hold of Leah. Right, Leah, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Leah. Go to Save the Res Dogs on Facebook or Instagram and get a hold of her. I am going to help you raise
Mm-hmm.
money.
Mm-hmm.
She's $500 away from what is that thing again? The tagging thing?
It's a pet tag ID engraver. It's
Yeah.
on the website and social media. You'll see it, and it's a cute little tag. And like I would only sell them for like $5 once I get the machine, and like $5
Yeah.
a tag to keep it, affordable for people.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to donate $100 right now after this show. I want to challenge everyone else to get in there and
Mhm.
donate some money to Save the Res Dogs because we all know if you're living on the res, there's a lot of
Mhm.
dogs running around and they don't want to be
Mhm.
shot. They're just hungry, want to be loved, just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
anyone else in this world. So, I mean, awesome job, Leah. It's a great job what you're doing. I want to have you on the show again. We can do,
For
I
sure.
really, I'm going to do a fundraiser for you. I
Okay.
just got to toss it in my mind how I'm going to make it happen. I might even do one of them card things and just sell a
Yeah.
square or whatever. I don't know. I'll do something.
Yeah.
But awesome job. And if you guys, like I said, want to get a hold of her, here's all the information. Inbox her. She's doing awesome. Do you go out to schools and stuff? Well, once the world returns normal.
Yeah, I'm working at a school now in the city and I'm a substitute. So whatever class that I'm in, I'm basically talking about res dogs. So but after all this, I'll go back to schools. But that's why I want to do like YouTube so I can get more audiences really. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you guys go. Do you want to finish it out by saying anything or?
No, just thank you so much. Thanks for all like the awesome work that you're doing. This is a really great platform. It's super inspiring, and keep it up. And thanks to everyone who watches this. And now because of COVID and winter time, it's a very critical season for dogs. And so, if you can't take in a dog or donate money, like sharing stuff on social media does really go a long way. If you can't donate or take in a dog. But just anything really helps for sure.
Awesome. With that, you guys, we will see you tomorrow and I am going to go back to, 7 a.m. I think. Well, we'll see because I got no work this week because of COVID. So I'm just kind of playing with the times around here, but I might be on at 7 a.m. I might not, but I'm going to be on for sure tomorrow. So with that, you guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Leah, and you guys take care. And this is, I need an end saying, this is IOPPS signing out and always sharing Indigenous success.